So this was the CEO morning routine of a 22-year-old frat guy, me, back in around May of 2020. I would normally wake up probably around noon because the whole previous morning I had watched Breaking Bad and played video games until like 4 a.m. and finally passed out. And the first thing I would do is grab my phone and I'd start scrolling through all the notifications that I had from the previous day of following a bunch of random sorority girls and trying to match with as many people as I possibly could on every dating app that I could find. I was so desperate for dopamine and just validation that I would go and extend my like dating app radius to as far as it could possibly go so that I could match with as many women as possible. But yeah, I'd be scrolling through the notifications. I'd see who followed me back on Instagram, who matched with me on the dating apps, who had responded to my messages on Snapchat, and my brain would immediately just straight, the second that I wake up, all the dopamine is just firing off. And so eventually, after looking through all the notifications and feeling much better about myself, how cool I was and how much attention I was getting, I would go on Instagram and I would start scrolling to see how everybody else's lockdown was going. Right? Sarah went to the beach again. Oh my gosh, so cool. And Johnny went out to the bar last night and got absolutely obliterated with his buddies again, dude. Awesome, man. That's awesome. Love seeing everybody's updates. But as I would scroll in the back of my mind, I knew what I was actually looking for. I didn't care about any of these updates. I was looking for something to jerk my wiener to. And so I would just keep scrolling until some girl had posted some like scantily dressed, like lustful piece of content on Instagram. I would immediately go to her profile and start fiending to try to find like the most provocative thing that I could find, and I would end up busting the first nut of the day. Keyword first. I would end up going on to YouTube and finding something to also distract myself with. Normally it was some like meme video because like Vines and TikToks were really like the fad back in 2020. So I would probably just go on like some TikTok compilation of people dancing or some guy playing Fortnite or some video game. And I would just waste time, dude, like totally waste time. And normally as I would watch a video, there would be some like ad or some like lustful thing would pop up yet again. It would trigger just monkey brain taking over. Every single time, dude, without fail, something would pop up. Some girl's boobs or whatever. Because if we're being honest, those social media companies know what they're doing. They want you freaking addicted, right? So I would see something that would trigger me yet again. I would go back onto Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I would try and find something else to pleasure myself to. There's a reason why all this stuff is free. It's because you pay for it with your time and your own vitality, but that's another topic for another video. I would end up finding something else, some other girl who had even less clothes on than the one that I had looked at before and busted the first nut to, and I would end up relapsing yet again. So round two, second nut of the day, probably 45 minutes into me waking up, I have already relapsed twice. And in my head, I'm like, oh, dude, you know, I can't reset the nofap streak today. Might as well just jerk off as many times as I possibly can. Who cares, right? You can't restart. I'll do better tomorrow. And the funniest part is I shared a room with my twin brother. Like we both had our own bed, but we were in the same room. And so normally whenever I would wake up, especially around the lockdown, I would typically wake up before he did. So I would be doing all this stuff with him just like sleeping in the corner of the room. So I couldn't be too loud. I'm like quietly trying to, you know, beat my meat without making any noises or waking him up. He would like roll over in bed a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, like constantly like looking over to make sure he doesn't see me or he hasn't woken up yet. Just such a freaking degenerate, man. But this was my life, and I'm being 100% transparent with you. This is exactly how it was going back then. I was down bad. But yeah, I'd bust two nuts 45 minutes in, and normally that still wasn't enough for me. I was such a dopamine fiend that typically by this point, I would give it another 10, 15 minutes of mindlessly scrolling on my phone and maybe responding to some Snapchats or sending some girls messages on dating apps. And I'd be like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go straight for the corn this time for the third nut of the day. I'd go search something up on Cornhub or any of those awful, evil websites, and I'd end up busting the third nut of the day. And I'd knocked off quite a few very productive items on my to-do list in the morning before I'd even gotten out of bed. And by that point, I'd finally get out of the bed and I'd be all sweaty and crusty and disgusting. Like I'm literally like sweating, like just a filthy animal. The sheets are like sticking to my legs. The first thing I would do is I would sit down in my gaming chair. I'd grab the PlayStation 4 remote and I would turn on Call of Duty Warzone. I remember thinking to myself like, man, I'm glad my brother didn't wake up again. And I'm glad that he doesn't know how much of an animal I am. You know, my mind's just filled with all these negative, self-deprecating thoughts. You're a degenerate, you're a loser, I can't believe you jerked off 3 times before you got out of bed. What's wrong with you? You're never gonna amount to anything. Like all those just demonic thoughts just flooding my mind as I'm trying to get the game loaded up. And throughout the day, I would end up just playing video games all day. Play round after round after round, and in between rounds, I would scroll on all the same apps that I already told you about, be looking on the dating apps, sending girls texts, sending girls Snapchats, pretending like I was busy, like I was actually getting anything productive done all day. I'd take like 4 hours to respond to these random girls, these sorority girls, and like, oh yeah, I'm really getting a lot of work done today, and I'm just playing video games all day and scrolling on TikTok. But yeah, on average, I'd probably bust anywhere from 6 to 8 nuts a day. Easy, dude, like in my sleep. That was the average. But it made sense. I had nothing else going on, dude. I had no job. I wasn't doing my schoolwork. Nobody was really in school at that point. I maybe had some online classes, but I wouldn't study for anything. I was just a frat clown. Like I'd play video games all day and scroll on social media and jerk off. And then by the end of the night, I probably had some plans to go to my buddy's apartment or to go out to the local bars and get pissed drunk. Normally, I ended up going to those bars and try and shoot my shot with a few girls and get rejected. And that would make me feel even worse about myself. And I'd stumble home in my bed and ended up jerking off another 1 or 2 times and passing out. And I wake up in the morning and the exact same cycle would repeat over and over and over again. And I did this for the entirety of the year 2020. And I was a complete and total loser. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to join our brotherhood of men that are focused on becoming masculine and godly again, go ahead, scroll down, click on that subscribe button right now, and that way you'll see even more videos on your homepage that are just like this one. Now, in case you haven't already gathered this from the video so far, everything that I told you about in terms of the way that I used to live my life has changed, and I do not want you to live in the same reality that I lived in back in 2020. I was an absolute degenerate screw-off. And I know that there's even some guys that are born-again Christians that are trying to follow God that are succumbing to the exact same bad habits that I used to struggle with back then. And I would have killed to have a video like this back whenever I was in my early 20s and still in college, because I had absolutely no guidance. Like all of my friends were living this way. All my friends were addicted to video games and social media and jerking off. As Dale Carnegie says, you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I was just hanging out with the wrong people. And I didn't have any guidance or any direction. So in today's video, I'm gonna be walking you through 3 signs that you're addicted to the internet, and also how to break this addiction so that you can become the man that God has created you to be. So sign number 1 that you are addicted to the internet is your screen time is over 6 hours a day. Now, if you don't know how to do this already, all you have to do is go into your phone settings, go to screen time, and it'll tell you exactly what the average screen time is for you every single day. I just looked at mine and it's honestly kind of bad, but I also do a lot of my work from my phone, so I have an excuse, okay? But if you look at that phone screen and it says over 6 hours a day, you probably have an addiction to your phone. Now, one of the main reasons why I decided to make this video was I kept hopping on calls with guys who had either booked in for one-on-one coaching or they had joined the private community that I had created more recently. And almost every single guy that I was talking to was telling me how they were struggling to grow deeper in their relationship with God. And as I continued to ask questions and try and figure out more about their current situation, I started to realize that almost every single one of these guys had a screen time of 6 to 8 hours per day, meaning they were scrolling on their phone for almost a third of the day. Right? And you're probably sleeping, 7 to 8 hours a day. So that's literally half of your day is spent staring at your phone, on social media, watching YouTube videos, screwing around, right? And what I started to realize is when guys have no purpose, no meaning, they don't have a lot of goals, they're not super ambitious or driven, or they don't know what they're doing, they distract themselves with the pleasures of instant gratification. I used to do the exact same thing, as you can tell from the story that I told you earlier. But one of my favorite quotes from a guy named Viktor Frankl is that a man without purpose or meaning in his life distracts himself with pleasure. And I know that some of you are watching this video thinking, oh dude, I just checked my screen time on my iPhone. I only spend 3 hours a day on my phone, dude. Like I'm doing pretty good. But if you're being honest with yourself, you know that not all your time is spent on this. Sometimes you go on your computer and you watch videos on your computer, or you're on Netflix and you're watching random series on Netflix all day, or you're playing video games just like me. And so if you're being 100% honest with yourself, even if you're not scrolling on your phone for 8 hours a day, you are locked in on a screen for more than half of the day, wasting time. Because if you really think about it, dude, if the device was not there, like if the screen was not there, if we had no technology like the technology that you're watching this video on right now, if all that was gone and we lived, 50, 100 years back, you would literally just be sitting in a room staring at a wall for 8 hours a day, or 10 hours a day, doing nothing, getting nothing done. Isn't that crazy to think about? And eventually, we just got to be men and we got to be honest with ourselves. You're most likely on your screen, scrolling, not getting anything productive done every single day for more than half of the day. And you need to stop lying to yourself and coping and acting like it's not that big of a deal. Because at the end of the day, the more that you rationalize and pretend like things are not that big of an issue, the longer you continue to stay stuck in your life, and the more that you'll continue to stay in the exact same place and not make any progress or strides towards the goals that you have for yourself. The second sign that you have an addiction to the internet is you spend more time scrolling than you do with God. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. There are many days during the week where I am guilty of this and I make this mistake. So I know dang well, if you're being honest with yourself, you're making the same exact mistake that I am. There have been many times, especially whenever I first started making these YouTube videos, that I would spend more time thinking about and talking about God than I actually did spending time with God and in God's Word. And this is a mistake that a lot of us make. We mistake proximity and being around God or talking about God with other people. We mistake that proximity with presence with the Lord, right? We think that we can open up the Bible or spend quiet time with the Lord and our mind be completely somewhere else, like thinking about other things, stressing about work, stressing about your relationship with your girlfriend or whatever. Like our mind is completely somewhere else, but we're spending quality time with God. Really imagine going on a date with a girl and you're trying to get to know her and you're trying to spend quality time with her, and the entire time that you're on a date with her, she's locked in on her phone, not paying attention to anything that you're saying, and half butting the conversation, just doesn't care, could give a crap if she was listening to you or not. Yeah, bro, she's on a date with you, that's awesome, man, but is she actually present with you? Is she actually there? No, she's not. And so imagine how God feels whenever we go and we spend quiet time with him, or we read the Bible, or we journal, or we're like, yeah, God, talk to me. Tell me what you have for me, or, reveal new wisdoms to me. And our brain is not present at all with the Lord. Truly imagine how that makes him feel. Not very good, right? One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, and it tells us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Meaning especially whenever you're trying to spend quality time with the Lord, you're trying to get in the Word, you're trying to study the Word, you're trying to memorize Bible verses, or talk to God and share what's going on in your life, or pray for other people, you have to prioritize your relationship with God. And you have to be 100%, or at least to the best of your ability, as present as you possibly can be with God, or you're wasting your time. And I know it's hard to be 100% present. Sometimes there's just stuff that's swirling around in your mind that you can't control. But the goal is every single time your mind tries to drift off into thinking about other things, you try and redirect it back onto God. And I promise, if you can try and put that into practice in your quiet time or in your prayer time or whenever you're trying to talk to God, you will have much more breakthrough, because you're actually going to be present with the Lord and he can speak to you and you can learn. And in general, it's a really good practice to try and be as present as you possibly can be with other people, right? Whenever you go to dinner with somebody or you hang out with your friends, don't be scrolling on your phone and multitasking. Just be 100% present with them. Lock the phone away. Throw the phone away. Get rid of the phone, right? Spend as little time as you possibly can on the phone because you're wasting your time and indirectly, actually directly, you're hurting the people that you're supposed to care about the most. Because nobody wants to hang out with some guy that's not present. Like, you might as well just not even be here. The third sign that you are addicted to the internet is that I'm telling you right now, you are addicted to the internet. And I can tell you for a 100% fact that you are addicted to the internet because I am also addicted to the internet. Especially if you're still watching this video right now, bro, and you made it like 20 minutes into this video, you are addicted. Trust me. I'm not going to explain any more reasons. I'm not going to give you all the statistics as to why, according to this article, 75% of the US ages 18 to 24 are addicted to the internet by this, all that. I'm not telling you any of that crap. I'm telling you right now that you have a problem and you need to take action on the 3 steps that I give you in this video to actually break free from this addiction from your life. To actually break free from this addiction once and for all. Now, I'm going to keep this very simple. The best possible pieces of advice that I could give you is step number 1. You need to put your phone on grayscale mode and or download the Refocus app, which will help you to block yourself from being able to use certain apps on your phone, which will limit your screen time. Or if you really want to go balls to the wall with this, you can buy the brick. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the top link in the description. But it's basically a piece of plastic that you can buy that you set up and you put a little password on it and you can block certain apps from being used on your phone. And once you have the app and it's locked and you can't go on your phone or go on certain apps, you just take that brick and you give it to somebody else. You give it to your parents or your friends or your buddies, or you go put it somewhere else. You have somebody hide it from you to where you can't get access to it and your phone is completely locked. You can't use any of these social media apps even if you wanted to. And it's not until you get the brick back and you put it on your phone and you unlock it that you can get back into these apps. And I have quite a few buddies in my life right now that are using the brick, including my boy Eddie. If you're watching this video, you're the GOAT. But it's helped them a lot. And especially whenever it comes to scrolling and just wasting time on Instagram, it's completely eliminated that from their life. Their screen time has gone from 8 hours a day down to like 2 or 3, which is great. But I can kind of combine the first 2 steps, grayscale mode, Refocus app, add covenant eyes or whatever you need to block yourself from being able to use all the apps. You just need the pattern interrupt. That's the most important thing. A lot of this stuff is subconscious. You guys need to understand that. Like, we will subconsciously just grab the phone immediately. Like, the second that we are not getting dopamine, you'll notice this if you're being honest with yourself. If you've ever driven anybody around and even gone to the gas station or waited at a red light or anything where there's like a period of time where you're not getting any dopamine, your natural inclination is to grab the phone and start scrolling, start looking for notifications. Did this girl text me back? Blah, blah, blah. Just, you got to be able to break the pattern. And that's what these apps do. It stops you. It's like, hey, are you sure you want to go onto this app? Take a deep breath for me. You need the pattern interrupt. That's what breaks the cycle. But the third and most important step that you can take to break this addiction for good is to find your purpose. And I will let you in on a little secret. Your purpose, especially as a man, is to glorify God with the way that you live. And the word glorify means to make known. Basically, as a child of God, your purpose is to make God known in every aspect of your life, or as many aspects of your life as you possibly can. And the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't matter what your race is or your ethnicity or your gender or how tall you are or how overweight you are or how underweight you are or what you do for work. None of that stuff matters. Every single child of God watching this video right now can glorify and make the Lord known, right? Share your faith with people. Share the gospel with people. Share your personal testimony with people. Whenever people ask you why you walk differently, or you talk differently, or you work differently, or whatever, these are great opportunities for you to share your faith in Christ with the people that God has entrusted you with in your life. It's very simple. You could even make videos like I'm making right now on social media. It's very easy. Right? It's very different than it was back whenever the apostles were walking around and like there was a threat of you getting murdered or stoned to death if you talked about Jesus. Like, I can make videos all day, every day, and nobody tries to kill me. Yet, at least. But we have no excuses. There's no reason why you can't make God known in your life. And it is literally the most fulfilling thing that you can do while you're on this earth. I have never tasted or felt more fulfillment in my life than I do right now as I'm making these videos and posting content on social media. Every single day, a new person is reaching out to me and telling me how my videos and my willingness to submit to God and post content and post my learning lessons on social media has impacted or changed random people around the world's lives. And it's awesome. It truly is. It makes me feel great. And especially if you're a man watching this video right now, there's nothing better than setting goals and making progress towards your goals in your life. Nothing like it's not even comparable, dude. No amount of video games, getting drunk, partying, sleeping around, watching the corn, no amount of that stuff made me feel as fulfilled as I do right now as I'm recording this video. Take this advice. I hope that this video helped you, bro. I hope that God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.